Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Ōkami walkthrough. We've healed Kamui! Or at least we've healed it as best we can. It's still a frozen wasteland, and we can't really do anything about that until we actually progress the story and go into the dungeon and all that jazz. But we are just going to do what we can around here for now. So we're going to feed the animals, we're going to complete side quests, just generally wrap everything up as neatly as possible. But before we actually get too far, we are going to be introduced to a brand new enemy. And this is the igloo turtle. Called so because it's like a turtle, but it's an igloo. Now the trick to beating these guys is wail on it, much like you would a Bulldozer and a Chimera, because it's the same model and same kind of strategy. Once you have beaten it up enough, it will, its tail will light on fire, and then you can use that to hit the snow boy in the middle, because that's what that little straw figure is, and then you can wail on it. Now I believe its floral finisher is Inferno / Firestorm, so if you have got fire about, make sure to use it. I am currently failing miserably to pull off the Inferno, but oh well. Now the art book has this to say about the igloo turtles. Surrounded by snow, the identity of this demon is a one-legged boy called Snowboy. Using his powers, he moves the entire hut when attacking his victims, and this entity as a whole is known as the igloo turtle. And, I mean, the thing that I quite like about the igloo turtle, like, with the imp line, so the imps, the guardian deities, the Namahages, and so on, like, the tactics for beating them doesn't change. The floral finisher might, but the general tactics are the same. So the red ones, you power slash the kind of their shield, and then you can get to them. The green imps just attack. The black ones have their flying skull things, you just kind of get rid of them and then you can wail on them. The flying ones you gust and it's all fine. But with the Bulldozer, Chimera, Igloo Turtle series of enemies, the Bulldozer is all about blooming to then get to the thing. The Chimera is all about power slashing, and the Igloo Turtle is all about the firestorm. So even though it's still beat enemy, use brush technique, wail on enemy more, floral finisher, it's shaken up a little bit. And I think we've just seen a familiar face here, which I am very happy to see. Hello, Kakari! Now, something that is a very nice little touch is that, so, in the original game, in the original renderings of how the plot was going to go, Kokari was going to be older when he appeared in Kamui. So he was going to have grown up. But in the actual game, he is wearing traditional Oina clothing, and he's still wearing a rabbit. So, but the fact that it is not an actual rabbit, it's one of the Oina rabbit masks, it suggests that he has been accepted by the people of Kamui, which is really nice. And seeing as Kokari is here, there is a fishing minigame. Now, there are quite a lot of fish in Kamui, and they are all pretty much unique. So you are going to be spending quite a lot of time fishing here. But there are a few pretty spectacular fish to catch, so if you want to go for it, go for it. Now, nearby to where Kokari is, there is the dojo, and that's where we're going to head in a minute, I think. Just to get us some new moves, because the new moves have become available to us, which is really nice. And considering how everything has gone so far, I have to ask the question to you all, are you a kid now, or are you a squid now? Because, we might have just killed the Inklings. Oops. So, yes, over here, after we've just gotten this chest, because, I mean, why wouldn't we pick it up? It's right on our path. There is the dojo! Now, there is a fun fact about the snow mounds just outside of Kamui. Basically, if you power slash them, then you will... oh god, what is it? You'll create snow statues, essentially. And there, I believe, is another mound somewhere in the area that will allow you to do that as well. But... so, if you power slash the bigger pile of snow by the dojo, it will either be Issun times 1000, so like a massive Issun statue, Sakuya, or Army sitting down. If you go into the dojo, and return to the pile of snow outside, it will reset and be covered again, so you can bring it into a new form. You have to slash 3 times to reveal the statue, but it's quite a nice little touch. Annoyingly, I don't ever show it off, because I suck. But, oh well. Also, near a different character's house, which we will be going into, but not until the next part, there's another large pile of snow that's in the snowy section between the frozen streams. Basically, if you slash it 3 times, then a statue of Ami will appear, and it's very similar to the statue in Kamiki Village at the beginning of the game, except it's larger and made entirely of snow. Also, apparently, if you go to Oki's house, which is the one where we went in and then we fought him outside, if you power slash the log that he uses for cutting practice, then a statue of a falcon will appear. I annoyingly am not showing off any of these things, but sorry, it's the best I've got. And now I suppose is probably a reasonable time to go into some of the backstory to do with Kamui, because I just simply haven't really had time to deal with it up until this point, because we were dealing with Oki and all of that jazz. So, even though the entirety of the Kamui region has a harsh polar climate with blizzards and snowstorms and so on and so forth, southern Nippon doesn't suffer any of that. Also, several characters state that Kamui is separated from the southern lands by a sea. Therefore, these facts put forward a theory that the Kamui region is on an island separate from the rest of Nippon, namely Hokkaido. This means that the tunnel underneath the observatory at Shinshu Field is actually very, very long, and crosses the Tsugaru Strait between the islands of Honshu and Hokkaido. And that would make sense, as pretty sure that the Ainu lived in Hokkaido is one of the things that where they were. Same with Honshu, so that lovely northern area, which is actually, I believe, the inspiration for Sinnoh in Pokemon. Because I'm just looking at the map of Japan and just thinking, yep, that's the same one. Yes, I am indeed correct. So it's a really nice touch to have kind of another very real part of Japan being represented in the game. Now, I would get more attacks, but I need that money at present. Because we are going to try to get 2 more powerful brush techniques, and they are of the wishing well variant. And the only way to get them is obviously through having lots and lots of yen. So we'll have to go with that. Now, the name Kamui means god in Ainu. It can, I do believe I did mention that it can be spelt K-A-M-U-Y, but it's the UI variant rather than the UY variant. Basically, Kamui are very similar to the Japanese Kami. You can see the similarities in the names. But the translations, just like God or Divine Spirit, tend to miss some of the nuances of the term. So Kamui are numerous, some are delineated and named, such as Kamui Fuchi, the Hearth Goddess, while others are not. Kamui often have very specific associations. For instance, there is a Kamui of the Undertow. Personified deities of Ainu mythology often have the term Kamui applied as part of their names. Also, apparently, Kamui, or Kam, means shaman in Turkic and Mongolian languages. Also, apparently, since the Ainu had no writing system of their own, and because much of Ainu mythology was passed down as oral history in the form of Kamui Yukar, deity epics, long verses traditionally recounted by singers at a gathering are, I think, how we know of this whole thing. Apparently each Kamui Yukar recounts a deity's or hero's adventures, usually in the first person, and some of them are of great lengths, containing as many as 7,000 verses. And good God, that is long. Some Yukar contradict each other, assigning the same events to different deities or heroes. That's primarily a result of the Ainu's culture's organisation into small and relatively isolated groups. So, I suppose in a way it's the whole thing of the monomyth coming into play, where the same stories get told but with different characters involved. Records of these poems began to be kept only in the late 19th century by Western missionaries and Japanese ethnographers. However, the Ainu tradition of memorising the Yukar preserved many of them. So, I mean, for examples of some of the Kamui that we have, well, at least we know of. So there's Aoina Kamui, which I guess is where they got the name for the Oina here, who's a culture hero who taught the humans the domestic arts. There is Apasam Kamui, Kamui of the Threshold, Chikap Kamui / Kotanko Kamui, god of owls and the land, Chup Kamui, goddess of the sun, and I think that probably will do us. But yes, I mean, that was obviously an increased cherry bomb power, so now we can do 3 at once, which is actually amazing. But there is one much more difficult challenge that we are going to face today. I think we may be getting the other brush technique now as well, but that may be waiting for a little bit later on when I have more money. Because I don't think we necessarily quite have enough, because the final upgraded brush technique costs a lot of money. We'll see whether I manage to raise the funds by selling everything that we own. I mean, this is what happens when you stockpile items and then just sell them all at once. It's a very satisfying thing to do. And obviously we don't need our mermaid coins anymore, so we can just sell them all off. It's great! But I think we are going to take on what is possibly the greatest challenge in Ōkami. And, oh, it is a toughie. It's a real toughie. I don't know whether I'm quite a fan of it, but we are going to tackle it, and it is going to go swimmingly. Because if you come to this little island, I suppose, here, there is a place where we can dig, / do a cherry bomb, or something of the like. And down there is our challenge. It isn't a bandit spider. No, it's something much more threatening. It is the final Blockhead. And trust me, this guy is so difficult. Like, you have no idea how difficult this guy is. Because he has not one weak spot, not 2 weak spots, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, but he has 8. 8 weak spots that you need to hit in order in the specific spot. Well, in the specific spots. This guy is nigh on impossible if you don't cheese it, really. I attempted to do this legit, because, I mean, that would be quite impressive. But, like, I got so far on pretty much all of them, and then just completely forgot the order of where everything went. It was just like, oh, they're so close! So close! Now, there are various ways of trying to deal with this, so putting a sheet of paper over the screen and drawing the circles on to point out to you where you've got to click. But that, at least for me, didn't work. It just took a little bit too much effort in the end, because, like, it was difficult to remember which order they all went in, and it was never quite accurate enough to succeed. So, ultimately, I used the rather cheap method of the fact that I'm recording. So what I was able to do was hit him, stop the recording, look at it, go all the way to the bit where it showed what was happening, and then I just had to follow the footage as I went. And that is how I succeeded. Obviously not all people can do that, and I feel really sorry for you if you don't have access to capture cards or whatever, because just trying to do this without is so difficult. If you've got a really good memory, then you should be absolutely fine, but I just simply do not. Like, I've got a reasonably good memory when it comes to trying to deal with facts and stuff, but when it comes to trying to remember the specific order in which things pop up, like a few seconds ago, it just doesn't go well. I wish my short-term memory was better than it is, but it's really not. Also, you can see I'm literally shaking with fear at cocking this up. Because I'm just like, oh god, this needs to go well. I need to do this because I need the stray beads that you get from beating this guy. But, there we go. Blockhead Grande, or Blockhead Grande, is defeated. Take that! So long, dude. You will unfortunately not be missed, because you are an absolute bogger to defeat. So, we get a gold dust for that, we get a stray bead, and I can't remember what the other thing is, but... Oh, it's just a silver pocket watch, which is reasonably expensive for you to sell, so it's worth it in the end, but... Oh, the hassle! Anyway, we've got a bit more of Kamui to explore, so let's get on with that next.